big updates are coming for Social Security. Some people will receive 3 checks in December, and several payment dates are shifting. Wondering if you're getting extra money or what the new COLA increase means for you? I'm going to break everything down clearly in just a few minutes. If you want fast and simple updates on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and all the latest SSA changes, don't miss out. Make sure you hit subscribe so you always get the newest information quickly before anyone else. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and stay informed. All right, everyone, there's something important happening right now with Social Security payments, and I want to make sure you fully understand what's going on because it could impact your wallet in a big way. You've probably heard people talking about getting 3 checks in December, and maybe you're wondering if you're included. Stick with me because I'm going to explain the December payment shifts, the new COLA increase, and what all of this means for your monthly income. So let's start with the 3 check situation because it sounds confusing at first, but once I explain it, it'll make total sense. Before you get too excited though, I need to be upfront. This is not bonus money, and it's not extra cash from the government. What's happening is simply a calendar issue that affects certain Social Security recipients, specifically people who receive Supplemental Security Income, also known as SSI. SSI payments go to disabled adults, seniors with very limited income, and people who rely heavily on this money every single month. Normally, SSI is deposited on the first day of each month like clockwork. That's when the funds show up in your account, or the check arrives in the mail. But here's where things get interesting. Sometimes the first of the month lands on a weekend or a federal holiday, and the Social Security Administration has a rule. They never delay your payments. So if the first falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday, they pay you early on the last business day before that date. So recently, SSI recipients got their December payment at the end of November because December 1st fell on a Sunday. That means they saw 2 payments in November, one for November and one early payment for December. But it doesn't stop there. January 1st is also a federal holiday, which means the January SSI payment is being sent out on December 31st. So if you're on SSI, you're getting a payment in December that is actually for January. That's why people are saying 3 checks in December, but it's not extra money. It's just the schedule shifting ahead. Now, let's go over the exact payment timeline for December so you know what to expect, because not everyone gets paid on the same day. If you receive SSI, your December payment was already delivered on November 29th since December 1st landed on a Sunday. But here's the key part. You'll also receive another deposit on December 31st, and that one counts as your January payment. So, yes, technically you're seeing money in December, but it's really covering next month. For those of you receiving regular Social Security retirement benefits, your payment date is based on your birthday, and this is where things get very specific. The Social Security Administration divides everyone into 3 birthday groups. If your birthday is between the 1st and the 10th, your payment comes on the 2nd Wednesday of the month, which is December 10th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your check arrives on the 3rd Wednesday, December 17th. If your birthday is between the 21st and the 31st, you get paid on the 4th Wednesday, December 24th. There is also a special group of people who get paid differently, and you need to know if you're in this category. If you started receiving Social Security before May 1997, you're paid on the 3rd of each month regardless of your birthday. Same rule applies if you live outside the U.S., if your state pays your Medicare premiums, or if you receive both SSI and Social Security at the same time. In all of those cases, December's payment goes out on December 3rd. And for those receiving both SSI and Social Security, remember, your payments come separately. Your SSI payment follows the 1st of the month schedule, while your Social Security retirement benefit follows either the 3rd of the month or one of the Wednesday payment groups. These are 2 different payments, so you need to track both dates. Now let's talk about something everyone is asking about, the COLA increase. COLA, or Cost of Living Adjustment, is how Social Security keeps your benefits aligned with inflation. Every year, the government reviews price increases for essentials like food, gas, rent, and utilities. Then they adjust your benefits based on those changes. It's designed to help make sure your money doesn't lose value over time. For 2025, the COLA increase is set at 2.5%. Now, I know that may feel small, especially when compared to the huge 8.7% increase in 2023. That was one of the biggest jumps in decades because inflation was extremely high after the pandemic. Then, in 2024, the increase dropped to 3.2%, and now for 2025, it's down again to 2.5%. The reason it's smaller is actually somewhat positive. Inflation has cooled down, and prices aren't rising as fast as they were. But for people living on fixed incomes, even a small increase is incredibly important. So, what does a 2.5% boost really look like for your wallet? Let's break it down. The average Social Security retirement benefit right now is around $2,008 per month. If you multiply that by 2.5%, that works out to about $50 more per month. So, the typical retiree will see roughly a $50 monthly increase. If you're receiving more than the average, your increase will be higher, and if your benefit is smaller, your increase will be smaller. But the 2.5% rate applies to everyone. For SSI recipients, the maximum federal payment in 2024 was $943 for individuals and $1,415 for couples. With the new COLA increase, those amounts are rising as well. You can figure out your personal increase by taking your current monthly amount and multiplying it by 0.025. Now, here's something extremely important. Most people will not see their COLA increase until January 2025. But there's one exception. SSI recipients who are receiving the January payment early on December 31st will see the COLA increase one day before everyone else. That December 31st deposit already includes the new benefit amount. For regular Social Security recipients, the timing of when you'll see your COLA increase depends entirely on your payment schedule. If you're someone who gets paid on the 3rd of the month because you claimed benefits before May 1997, or because you receive both Social Security and SSI, then you'll see your increased benefit amount on January 3rd. If your payment comes based on your birthday, then your first increased payment will arrive on your usual January date. Birthdays from the 1st to the 10th get it on January 8th. Birthdays from the 11th to the 20th get it on January 15th. Birthdays from the 21st to the 31st get it on January 22nd. Now, here's something that might be a little frustrating, but it's important that you understand the full picture. Just because your Social Security benefit is going up doesn't mean you'll actually keep the entire increase. Medicare Part B premiums also rose for 2025. The standard Part B premium is increasing to $185 per month, up from $174.70 in 2024. That's a jump of $10.30. For most people, Medicare premiums are automatically taken out of your Social Security check before it ever hits your bank account. So if you're getting a $50 COLA increase, but Medicare goes up by $10.30, your real take-home increase ends up being closer to $40. I know that can feel disappointing, like you're gaining a little but losing part of it right away. But there is a safeguard in place that helps protect your payments, called the Hold Harmless provision. The Hold Harmless rule ensures that your actual Social Security payment never goes down just because Medicare premiums rise. For example, if you received $1,625 deposited last year after your Medicare deduction, and this year's COLA brings your benefit up to $1,666 before deductions, but your Medicare premium is higher, the Hold Harmless rule guarantees you still get at least that $1,625. The government limits how much Medicare can take from your check so that your net payment never decreases. This rule applies to most people, but there are exceptions. It doesn't cover those who are new to Medicare, people who have higher income and pay IRMAA surcharges, or those who aren't having their premiums deducted from their Social Security checks. But for the majority of people, this rule helps soften the impact of rising Medicare costs. I also want to mention something about what's coming next. The Social Security Administration has already announced the COLA for 2026, and it's set at 2.8%. That's slightly higher than 2025's 2.5% increase, which means your benefits will rise again next year. The new increase will take effect in January 2026, using the same payment schedule we've been talking about. For the average retiree, a 2.8% raise means about $56 more per month. It's not a huge boost, but when you're living on a fixed income, every extra dollar makes a difference in keeping up with bills, groceries, and everyday expenses. Now, let me clear up some major confusion I've been seeing online because there's a lot of bad information spreading around. Some people are claiming that Social Security is sending out bonus checks or extra stimulus payments. That is absolutely not true. The only reason some people appear to be getting extra money is because of the calendar quirks with SSI that I explained earlier. There are no bonus checks, no surprise payments, and nothing extra beyond your normal benefit amounts. Be careful. Scammers are taking advantage of this confusion. If anyone contacts you asking for your Social Security number, bank details, or telling you to pay a fee to receive extra money, it's 100% a scam. The Social Security Administration will never call you unexpectedly demanding personal information or payment, especially not through gift cards, Zelle, or wire transfers. Hang up immediately if that happens. If you want to check your exact payment amount, your deposit history, or your upcoming payment dates, the safest and easiest thing to do is create a My Social Security account on the official SSA website. It's totally free and extremely useful. Once you're logged in, you can view your payment history, check your January COLA increase, request a replacement SS card, see your earnings record, and review your annual benefits statement. You'll also be able to see your official COLA notice online, which is more secure than waiting for a paper letter that could get lost or stolen. The SSA uploaded these notices in late November, and they're available in the message center of your account. One more thing I want to touch on is what happens if your payment doesn't show up when you expect it. The Social Security Administration recommends waiting 3 business days after your scheduled deposit date before contacting them. Sometimes delays happen through the banking system or through the mail, especially around holidays when everything moves slower. But if 3 business days pass and you still haven't received your money, then it's time to reach out. The main Social Security phone number is 1-800-772-1213, and they're available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just be prepared. Wait times can be long, especially during peak months. You may be on hold for a while, so plan ahead and try to call when you have time. You can also visit your local Social Security office if you need in-person help. But starting in January 2025, most services will require an appointment. You can schedule one by calling the same SSA number or by contacting your local office directly. Walk-ins will still be allowed for specific emergency situations, like if you're in the military, if you're facing hardship, or if you need urgent assistance. But for most other services, an appointment is required. I want to stress that every detail I'm sharing comes directly from official Social Security Administration schedules and announcements. None of this information is speculation, rumor, or guesswork. These are the confirmed dates, rules, and payment amounts straight from the SSA. If you see anything online that sounds too good to be true or contradicts this, double-check it on the official SSA website before believing it. There's a lot of misleading content spreading on social media, and some of it is designed to trick people into sharing personal information. Here's the bottom line. Some people appear to be getting 3 checks in December, but it's not bonus money. It's simply because weekends and holidays shift the payment schedule. The December SSI payment came early at the end of November, and the January SSI payment is arriving early on December 31st. Regular Social Security recipients are still on their normal timetable based on birthdays, with payments on the 3rd of the month or one of the Wednesday dates. The 2.5% COLA increase kicks in for most people in January, but SSI recipients will see it 1 day earlier on December 31st, since their January payment is being processed early. This increase does mean more money in your pocket, but remember, Medicare Part B premiums also went up, so your final take-home amount will be slightly smaller than the full COLA raise. And looking forward, a 2.8% COLA increase is already scheduled for January 2026. It's not a massive jump, but it still helps as costs continue rising. I hope this explanation clears up the confusion and helps you fully understand what's happening with your Social Security payments. The system can seem complicated with different groups, dates, and exceptions, but once you know where you fit, it becomes much easier to keep track. Watch your bank account for upcoming deposits. Make sure your My Social Security account is set up so you can check everything online, and be cautious of scams claiming surprise payments. If you found this helpful, share it with anyone who receives Social Security. Chances are they're just as unsure about these changes as you were before watching. Stay informed, protect your information, and make the most of every benefit available to you.